Hey guys and girls, how's it going and welcome back to another episode of FTB Resurrection with myself, Lewis. Hope you're brilliant, having yourself a great day. As always, we're back on the Utopia server and it's raining. It's a dark, dreary day on the server today. I think I just said today way too many times, but we're going to roll with that anyway. Now, I have been going down the route of just making loads and loads of parts that we're going to need for when we move fully into medium voltage. And between now and then, there has been an FTB Resurrection update. Now, it hasn't been applied to the server just yet. And the reason it hasn't been applied to the server just yet is because one of the major mods that most people are using, which is advanced generators, has been taken out. And I can understand that, you know, it's pretty much easy power. It's a bit too easy, really. You can make the machines for pennies worth, and you can get up to high voltage for absolutely nothing. So it makes sense they've taken it out, but a lot of people have been using that, and to make sure that people's machines don't just grind to a halt and all their stuff disappear, Nemson is going to leave it for a few days so they can dismantle it and they can, you know, they can get their bits and bobs back from deconstruction tables or macerate the parts down to get their bits back. It's going to be taking a few days until that gets applied, but we're going to go ahead. And anyone know what happened to my resonant pulverizer? No, sorry. We got a new person on the server as well, Railcraft, who's joined. She's a really good builder and does some other bits and bobs. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to make ourselves a big steam boiler today. And we're going to set up a farm. But the main thing that I want to do is I would like to go ahead and show you guys all about Buildcraft pipes, because it seems like one of those things that everyone's very much afraid of. I always see people saying, I don't want to use Buildcraft pipes because they throw stuff all over the floor and it makes a mess and it's horrible and all of this. And I would like to show you that they're not that scary. You know, you can tame the beast. And to be honest, I absolutely love Buildcraft pipes. So we're going to set up a steam boiler, and we're going to set up a tree farm, and we're going to use Buildcraft pipes for all of it. I think it's going to be good. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because in the next update, as we've had the advanced generators removed, we have had the... I always forget the name of it. It's a mod that allows you to basically transfer power between all the different mods, and we can switch from Steam into RF, we can do Steam into GregTech EU, IC2 EU, we can exchange power all over the place. And one thing that I remember from past experience is that changing Steam into any other type of power is extremely efficient. You can get absolutely tons and tons of power from making the boilers from Railcraft, so that's what we're going to be doing. So I've made myself 9 of these, and I've also started getting myself a load of high pressure boilers, and I think I'm going to need a few more. I made some more of these steel casings in here, and we need to make a couple more of these. So I think it's this and this. There we go, gives us high pressure boilers. So that's going to be enough for 2 layers. I can get another 10. Yeah, I can. Sweet. All right. And oh no, my thing broke. All right, let's quickly make another one. Here we go. How do I make? I think it's this. Yeah. It's really scary that I am starting to remember these recipes. My lord. There we go, good stuff. Alright, so we've got enough to make it free tool, which is great. Now we need to get ourselves loads of pipage. Now I've set up most of the stuff inside the tanker ready to go, but pipes is going to be one thing that we're going to need. Now there's a few pipes that make Buildcraft, using Buildcraft pipes very easy. And the main one, which I ever see anyone using this, and I don't know why, because it is the bread and butter of setting up a good system. It is some clay pipes, because clay pipes are what stop your stuff from spewing all over the floor. So we're going to make some clay transportation pipes, and these are insertion pipes, and I'm going to make a few because I'm planning on using Buildcraft later on. We're only probably going to need 2 or 3 for this, but it's going to be handy to have some more. So we've got those. I'm also going to want myself a diamond pipe, so this is the more expensive part of it, but for the sorting purposes these guys are great. So we'll grab one of you. Oh, other way around. There we go. And remember, you can use industrial diamonds for this as well. So if you've got an IC2 set up making the making all of the coal into whatnot, you can use industrial diamonds. So we've got diamonds, we've got clay transportation pipes. I've also got golden transportation pipes and water pipes plus void transport pipes, and that is probably going to be enough, I hope, as well as some drums. I might actually make a couple more drums because I've noticed a few people on the ship using steam for certain things, but they're using, you know, little kind of steam making machines, and if they want to go ahead and use these drums, well, they can go ahead and do that. And I'm sure they'll, they just have to replace the drum with one of their ones and just let it fill back up again. So all is going to be good in the hood. There we go. We'll make another. That'll do. We'll make another one that gives me 3 tanks to be filling up. And believe me, these will fill up real fast. So there we go. We've got all of that. Let's make our way over to the tanker, and we will start putting this all together. I'm super excited for this because I think it's going to look cool, and it works really, really well. And once we get the converters in, the converters mod, where we can convert power from all different types, it's going to be great because we can run everything off of steam. It's going to be mighty efficient. It's going to be great. And here we go. So this is what I've started doing. I've put down another area for our trees. We've already got our carrots doing their thing, and they're working great. I've been getting loads of power from those, filling up all my batteries so that I can carry on making all of the alloys that we need for medium voltage stuff, as well as a backup of ethanol now as well. So yes. But Akko has been kind enough as well to set up with a decent RF power source. I don't actually know what he's using, to be totally honest, but he's ran it through the side of the ship, and he basically put an output in every one of these little holes and said, you know what, hook it up, like use it as much as you like. So I've brought myself some of these energy pipes along here, and these are going to power our planters and what, because obviously for this one we're going to need planters because we can't use crop sticks for trees. As nice as that would be, which is currently under there. Now let's figure out how we're going to want this. So we're going to want a few inputs and outputs coming out from all over the place. The first one is going to come from here, I believe, and then we're going to have one output coming over this way. So let's go inside here and grab some of you. So we're going to have you coming out over here, and this is going to go into a clay transportation pipe, and I'll explain what these do in a minute. And then we're going to want some of this. So I've got 3 dollies, and each one of these has something in it. Which one it has in it, I cannot remember. So we're just going to pop them down and find out. We've got that, we've got that, and we've got that. Alright, so this one's going to be apples. So you're going to go here. There we go. And then we're going to have... I could actually do something very cool with this. I wonder if I can do this. I think I can. Because I believe... No, apples don't. I'm pretty sure apples don't work inside our bioreactor. We can have a quick look, but I don't think they do. You gonna do it? No. Alright, we can't use apples in there. But we can use additional saplings, so we're probably going to do that. So we'll get, like 2 for the price of 1. So you can go in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pop a void transport pipe on here. There we go. So let me explain how these guys work, because this is where people get a little bit confused with Buildcraft. And if you do already know this, because this is kind of general knowledge, if you do already know this, then this episode is pretty much just going to be me setting up a tree farm and a boiler for you. But if you don't know how the pipes work, then listen up. So the diamond pipe is going to allow us to sort items that come out of here. So we want apples to come into red. So the red's going to send the apples along here, and they're going to go into a golden pipe that's going to speed them up a little bit. We can use pretty much cobblestone, stone pipes, anything like that. The good thing with cobblestone and stone is they won't adjoin to each other. So if you're setting up a close compact system, it's going to be good to use cobblestone and stone. But we're not going to be doing that. I want the speed of the stuff coming around to make sure our boiler gets everything fast enough. So I'm going to be using golden pipes. But the golden pipe's going to send the item along here. The golden pipes will speed up the items as well. They're then going to reach the clay transport pipe. Now, how the clay transport pipes work, and this is what allows you to make really neat Buildcraft systems where you don't have items spewing all over the ground when your inventories are full. The clay transport pipe is always going to try and insert into the inventory that it's connected to. So it's always going to try and insert into here. But, and this is where these guys are really good, if it can't insert into here, it will allow the items to move along the system. So what this means is, like the cobblestone, so if I had a cobblestone pipe here, what would happen is the cobblestone would come along here. It would randomly, because this is the problem with Buildcraft that people don't like, is it's very random with the way the pipes work. Some items might try going here, some might go straight over there. If they can't go in there, they're going to fall on the floor, and it just becomes a giant kerfuffle. So using these pipes here, the clay insertion pipes, you can tell the items where you exactly want them to go without having to use iron pipes. And iron pipes, you'd still have the same problem. If it got full, it would spew them everywhere. So with this, we know that the items are going to come out of here. If they cannot go in here, they will go this way instead of getting spewed on the floor. And that is pretty much what makes an easy Buildcraft system. Clay pipes, they are the best thing. We used to have access to the closed pipes, but those things don't exist anymore, I don't think, for any of that. Wait for any eye to update. No, we don't have those. So closed pipes basically used to be a pipe with a chest in it, and you could fill up the pipe, and then once it was done filling up and couldn't do any more, it used to delete the items inside itself, which was a very cool way of doing it. Now, we've got the items coming up here. So with the apples, the other thing we're going to want is going to be coming down this way, which is going to go down here. And this is going to be for our saplings. So you're going to come out and around like this and down here. There we go. And again, we're going to have a clay pipe like that. So the saplings are going to come along here. They're going to try and go into here. If they cannot go into here, then they're going to go this way. And this is going to bring them over to you, because any additional saplings that we have, I want them to go into this, and that's going to work just fine. So that means we're going to make more biofuel, but we are going to fill this up in the process, because the main thing that you don't want to happen is your saplings to run out inside your planter, and then it stops planting and your system grinds to a halt. And once again, this is going to stop the problem of having stuff spewing all over the place, which is great. Now, the third part is going to be the wood. The main thing that we need is the wood, isn't it? That's what we want. So the wood is going to come along here. Here we go. And it's going to come right along here. And over this way. There we go. And it's going to go... How do I want to do this? Let's bring it along a little bit more. There we go. It's going to try and go into a furnace, and if it can't go into that furnace, it's going to come along again, and it's going to go into this guy. And there we go. Good stuff. So that way we have a way of stopping all of this from happening, which is going to be perfect. Actually, you know what? Let's do this again. So it's going to try and go into there. If it can't go into there, it's going to go into the barrel. If it can't fit into the barrel, then it's going to go, because otherwise if we left that as it was, we would have had an issue with items spewing. It's going to go into a void pipe. And there we go. Good stuff. Now we just need to sort out this guy that's going to be here, which is going to be very cool, because this is where we're going to have our main bits and bobs coming out going into our boiler. So our boiler is going to go around here somewhere. So let's have him set here, I think. So I have 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we're going to want our tanks on top. There we go. And this should be enough to make the boiler. Yeah, there we go. But I would like to try and get another one on top. I think we can. Yeah. Awesome sauce. So that's going to do that for us. Now we're going to obviously want to get some water going into here. So let's quickly set up a aqueous accumulator. And you can go here, I guess. We'll probably put you here. I wonder if you can auto output into this. I would guess you can. We'll find out. We're going to want some of you. Come with me. And we'll do this. There we go. And some water. Cool beans. Yeah, that looks like it's going in there. Good stuff. Hey, awesome. So that's going to go, that's going to fill that up. That should be enough water to keep this guy going, which is brilliant. Now, the last thing is just making sure that we have the coal going in there. And then we're going to want the stuff coming out of here, which we're going to do with a transfer node. So the transfer node is going to bring the stuff out of here. And we're going to bring it... Where are these guys? There we go. I'm going to bring them out. And we're going to bring it down. And this is where we'll have our drums. So we'll get our 3 drums. I'll have one there. I'll have one there and one there. Brilliant. Alright, so we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. I was going to set up a separate area for saplings, but I don't think I'm going to do that, because I would like my saplings to go into my bioreactor, this guy down here. and that should allow us to make an additional amount of fuel for all of these bits and bobs, which is going to be handy. So that should do the trick there. Now I don't think I'm missing anything. The only thing that we need to set up now is the coal, or the charcoal, that's going to come out of this. So let's go. Oh, that reminds me, actually, there is one thing I'm forgetting. We need to tell this guy where to send the stuff. So blue will be oak, and you can go back in there. And the last one, if we grab you, is going to be saplings, which is going to go black. Yeah, good stuff. And you can go back in my bag. Actually, no, you know what? We might as well leave this out because I'm going to need to fill this up in a second anyway. So let's put you down there. Cool beans. Alright, so let's make our way back. I've already made myself a furnace, and I've upgraded it and gave it a new augment. We're going to use this one here. I'll always remake this one, so it's fine. But I've put in a secondary reception coil, which gives it 2 times speed for 3 times energy use. I'm really not bothered about secondary chance because we're only doing wood, so it really doesn't make a difference. But that's going to speed it up significantly. I found that that should be enough to keep up with one of those boilers. So, and without it, it won't keep up. So that should just about do it. Now let's get ourselves our crescent hammer so that we can pull this guy out. There we go. And we'll make our way back. And I think we're almost ready to turn this guy on and see how it runs and make sure that we don't have any bits and bobs spilling all over the place. But you can see what I mean about how easy it is to set up a Buildcraft pipe network. It really isn't that hard. And this will work just fine. We won't have things pouring all over the place. We won't have bits and bobs going in the wrong direction, all because of these clay transport pipes. They are the best thing. So we're going to have this coming down here, and I'm going to turn off this here so we have no input on that side. Now we're also going to want to make sure that we have a place for the items to come out of, as well as a power input, which could have been done a little bit easier. I do like the look of this, but it does make it a little bit awkward. You know what we're going to do? We're going to change this round just a tad. Let's grab you. We'll put you here. And there we go. And the same with you. Otherwise, I haven't got enough places to put everything. So these items can now come down here instead. So we'll have that there, and you there. And this one can go like that. Good stuff. Alright, that's going to do the trick. And again, we're going to want to make sure that the input is on the back. I think that's the back. Yeah, good stuff. Cool beans. Alright, so that's going to do that. We're now going to want some power going to this. So let's break you quickly. And we'll bring this guy along like that. Cool, cool. This takes a little bit of a minute to find out what it is. If you like, when you look at the input for any of the extra utilities pipes, you can see that it's doing its little searching magic. It takes a minute or two for it to search because there's so many possible outputs for the power to go to at the minute. Because Akko's using a lot of machines. I've got a few machines hooked up. Rorax might have, Nemson maybe. So there's a lot of outputs for this power to go to. So it does take a little minute or two for it to actually figure out where it wants to send its stuff. But now that we've got that, we're going to bring the stuff that we make out of the top, and we're going to have it go along. This does mean that I'm probably going to have to make a trip pack, because we might have to use one more type of pipe for this to work correctly. But we're going to have the stuff coming out at the top, like this. There we go. Cool beans. And that's going to go along here, and then come down into here. Like so. And you know what we're going to have here? My trusty friend, the clay pipe. You're going to go there. And then we're going to have a few bits along here, I think. So maybe we could bring that up one. What's going to be the best way of doing this? We could have that along there. We could have something here. I'm actually going to bring this up one, I think. So we'll have it up like this. And this will just make it that little bit easier for it to do its thing. So you're going to come like that, And then off of this, we're going to have another pipe come along this way, I think. Yeah, I'm going to need another couple of pipe types. So let's go and get ourselves a couple more. And we're going to go with sandstone pipes, because these guys are great. So we need to turn this into this. And I'm going to need a little bit more sand. There we go. And we'll grab some of you. Cool beans. Now, sandstone pipes are great because they will only connect to other pipes. So they won't connect to any machines, any outputs, nothing like that. They will only go to pipes, which is great because that means that we can run pipes along machines that we don't want stuff to go into without having to use any type of cap or anything like that. And I totally did not mean to go there. I almost went straight past my little door then. I do that every time. So, like here, we don't want anything going into this one because it's going in through the back, isn't it? So we're going to place one of these pipes to make sure it doesn't connect to that. Now, we're going to have that go along there. We're going to have another one come along here. And this is going to go into a barrel. And let's put the barrel here. Actually, no, we'll bring it out a little bit more. We'll have it there. And then we'll put a spare barrel down here. And then we're going to put on the end of that a void pipe. Boom. Alright. So now, once we make ourselves our charcoal, the charcoal is going to come out of here. It's going to go along here. It's because we have this clay pipe. It's going to first try and put it into here. If this is full and the free inventory slots here plus the one that's burning is full as well, it's going to send it along here. It's then going to try and place it into here. And if it can't place it in here, it's going to void it. So we're always going to have ourselves one of the jabber barrels full of charcoal as backup. The same with this. We're always going to have this full of wood if this guy can't take any more wood, which is great. So I think we've pretty much got this configured exactly how we want it to do, making sure that we don't have a build-up of anything anywhere and everything's being sent to the correct place it needs to go. The last thing now is to actually start up the system and make sure that it's actually going to work. And this is where I get worried, because I'm always like, oh my god, this isn't going to work, is it? So let's start filling you up. There we go. I want to get a buttload of these in here. I would like to fill this up as much as I can to see whether the sapling thing, like the routing for the saplings that I've done down here is actually going to work. So there is that. And this should be getting power from this guy now. Hopefully, I have to kind of take these on and off sometimes because they decide they don't want to work. But yeah, so we got that. Let's get some torches around here as well because the saplings will grow a little bit faster with a little bit of light, which is good. And now we just have to wait for one of these guys to grow, which shouldn't be that bad. So I'm going to give it a minute and we'll be right back. All right, so I've left it for a little while and it is running perfectly. I'm so happy with how well this is running. So all the items are going into their correct places due to the diamond pipe. Apples into there, saplings down there, and wood into here. The wood's coming along this way. It's keeping up with the redstone furnace, which is great. So this runs really fast once you put in one of those augments. But you have to remember that this redstone furnace needs to be a hardened redstone furnace. It can't be a regular one. And if you use anything like a resonant one, then you need to make sure that you have the previous 2 or 3 augments in there as well for it to actually work properly. But yeah, so that's how that guy works. That's doing that. The charcoal is coming out of here going into here. You can see that it's keeping up with it because we've got 55, 54, so it is backing up, which is great. And once this backs up these 3 here, which is very unlikely because I'm not going to leave this running. I'm only going to run it when I need the steam. The stuff's going to come out of here, go into here, and then around here. Now, I did find one flaw in my plan, which can easily be solved, once again, with my friendly pipe. But round this way, because we will see that the bits will come down here, and because this is full, they're going to come round here. They're not allowed to go into there because this transport pipe isn't going to be able to put it in there, so they're going to come around this way, and they're going to go into this bioreactor. Now, this is very unlikely that this would happen, because this will pretty much only be running while I'm here, because I haven't been using my wild anchor all that much. But just in case someone's on the server for a very long time, and around here, like Rorax is doing something at the minute, this will still be running. So, to make sure that this doesn't happen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this around just a slight bit, and I'm going to put a pipe like this on here. And there we go. And we can fill you back up there. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this around just a tad. So let's put you there. And actually, I kind of want it to go in there. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll have that. And then we'll have another void transport pipe. And you can go there. Brilliant. So like I say, it's very unlikely that this would happen. But if we fill this up so much that we have a drum backed up of biofuel and a drum backed up of ethanol, then this is going to fill up. The saplings will start going in here, and once the saplings get to a point where it can't accept any more saplings because it's full up of biofuel, it will then start doing the spewy spew, which we don't want. So to get around that, we'll use the clay transport pipe and the void pipe again. So once the saplings come along here, if they can't go into there, they'll carry on their little mission into the void transport pipe and get deleted. Which is great. We could put that barrel that we had there, this one here, but to be honest, I don't have a great need for saplings at the minute. I would rather them all just go in there and getting turned into power for my IC2 machines. But once we have the power converters mod in, I think it's called power converters. Once we have that in, all of this steam is going to be getting converted into GregTech power. Oh yeah, and we'll be making so much. Like, these guys make so much, you can set up a few more of these and you can really pump out some power, which is great. You see that we're making steam now as well. So we've got steam in here, which is brilliant, and that's going into these drums. We've already got, what's that, 22 buckets worth, 13, 18 buckets worth. These guys throw out so much steam, it's unreal. We've already got 113 buckets worth of steam in there already, and it can hold up to 864. It's absolutely insane. So a setup like this that really costs pennies to get it going is well worth it. And obviously you've got to see how you use the Buildcraft pipes effectively to make sure that you don't have spillages and that you can tame the Buildcraft beast. It's not all ancient, old and decrepit like some people think it is. It still very much works just fine. And you got to admit, it looks cool. I love having these pipes. I like seeing all the things flying around and whatnot. You know, you're trying to build a factory. You wanna have things soaring around and bits and bobs coming out of pipes and, well, not going on the floor from the pipes. Because, you know, we've got pipes to deal with that. We've got the clay pipe. The clay pipe is the pipe of pipes. It is the pipe of piper. I like it. And all of these golden pipes and bits and bobs like that. So, yeah. I think this is working just fine. It's effective. It does the trick. We're making loads of steam. And we're keeping up with all of this. And we have everything set up so that we have buffers. And we have emergency outputs if we kind of bung up the system. So, yeah, good times. All right, this is something that you could easily do with the with these pipes, and you could probably do it faster with these pipes, these transfer pipes. But just for the sake of purpose, I wanted to show that you can use Buildcraft pipes for stuff like this quite easily on a server without having to worry about, you know, destroying it with like 1,000 items lying on the ground. Good times. All right, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Have yourself a great day. Have a good one as always, and bye bye.